Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of The Fishing Teacher, and thanks a lot for checking out today's video. Always grateful for that. And guys, today we're going to be talking about fishing topwater lures in the winter months, in the cold time of the year when most people never fish them. We're going to have a little discussion about that as far as when they work, if they work, and if it's something you guys really need to focus in on that. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also guys, just a quick thank you to everybody out there that's been using my tackle warehouse links that I put in the description to order your tackle. If you've been doing that, much appreciated. It's a really good way to support the channel and very grateful for that. Okay guys, topwaters in the wintertime, something that you do not hear about much, something that doesn't get fished very much out there. Now, let's talk a little bit about the main topwater bite window, when that really works good. Bass, like I said, are very opportunistic. They will take advantage to catch prey anytime they can. I don't care if the water's 100 degrees or if the water is frozen and they have to do it underneath the water. So they're gonna take advantage of that at any time that they can. And another thing about that, guys, bass are not victims of their cold water environment. A lot of people think since the bass is a cold water creature that it's like a snake and a turtle or something and it just gets dormant in the wintertime. Guys, bass were very active in the wintertime. I mean, I was fishing up at Stockton Lake in Missouri. Water temperature was 44 degrees and the bass were hitting some pretty fast moving lures in 3 foot of water in 44-degree water. So there's a sort of a misconception around that. Now, for the most part, when you're talking about topwater lures, you're definitely going to have a lot more success if the water temperatures are over 55 degrees. And specifically, if they're over 60 degrees. That's going to be your prime time because the fish are more active and aggressive, even though they are to some extent in the wintertime. They're a lot more active and aggressive when the water temperature is warmer. They chase more, they live higher in the water column. You've got a lot more bait fish that are shallow up on the top, like shad and perch and that type of stuff. So there's a lot more reasons for them to bite a topwater if the water's warmer. What happens, you'll notice once that water temperature starts getting below 55 degrees, the topwater bite really slows off in terms of the diversity of lures that you can catch bass on a topwater lure. It gets really, really tough. Now, one of the things I want to talk about today, guys, is a chugger like this Megabass Pop Max. Also, guys, I'll put this Pop Max link in the description if you guys would like to get a couple of them. Guys, this is one lure that they will hit in the wintertime. I've caught fish on this thing when water temperatures are in the low to mid 40s on it. And what you have to look on here, there's a couple different things, is you got to have a lake that's got some pretty clean water, and you got to have some type of shallower shad activity where the shad are higher up in the water column. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that the water is shallow, because the times that I have caught them on the popper is when you've got those slick days in the wintertime, usually when you got like a partly cloudy to cloudy sky, and once in a while, specifically if you're like back in a major creek arm, you'll see some shad or something flicking on the surface out there. This happens quite a bit in the wintertime. It happens more than you realize, especially if it's completely slick. These shad, they flicker so slow and so subtly on the surface that if there's the slightest ripple, you can't even see them. But if you notice out there on the calm days, you can see them out there. And I've been able to take this chugger, this Pop Max out there, and the reason the Pop Max is better in the wintertime is because you can stop it and let it set completely still. And I'll throw it out there anytime where I see any type of shad activity and just blurb it, go bloop, and just let it set until the ripples completely disappear, bloop. And then I've had them just come up like in slow motion and just like suck the thing under like that, just real slow in 40-some degree water, places that, you know, most people would never throw it. And this has not only worked for me, guys. I've heard several people here in the Ozarks that have done the same thing. I know this one guy out there that he'll throw a popper like all winter long. It's like he'll go out there and just sit in the back of the boat fishing with his buddies that are fishing an A-rig or a jerkbait. And if it's a calm day, he'll just be throwing that chugger out there all the time and he catches fish on it. Most people never even try it. That's probably why they don't catch fish on it. But overall, guys, this is something that's not, don't look for this to be like a go-to every time you go winter fishing. Like anything else, it's just situational. So I'd recommend, guys, just throw a couple of them in your box, and the next time you're out winter fishing or cold water fishing, if the water's under 55 degrees, just have one in the rod locker. And if you see some shad flickering out there in the middle of the creek, go over there and toss around it a couple times. It's not going to hurt it, because what happens is these schools of bass, and specifically if you have spotted bass, they chase these shad all winter long. They follow the shad schools, and sometimes the shad schools are going to be 20, 30, 40 feet deep. The bass will chase them down there, and they swim around them. It's not like they're feeding on them all the time, but they just relate to the shad, and when they're hungry, they go up and get one. And sometimes on those calm days when you got the right conditions, those shad will pull up shallow, and the bass just pull up shallow with them. It doesn't take them any more effort to be a foot underneath the water than it does 20 feet under the water. So anyway, just wanted to pass that little tidbit along. It may or may not work for you. Just wanted to share that with you, and thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys later.